And welcome back to the shed of basketball truth. It is Studio 3. The ball don't lie. Australia. Now, we are in the throes of Mitsubishi Motors NBL1 North Grand Final week. Now, since it's Grand Final week, slightly different format to the way we're pumping out the shows this week. Of course, thank you to Dr Electrician for sponsoring the show, servicing all Brisbane and North Adelaide areas. And, of course, to the local card shop of Woolloongabba, Crackham local card shop of Woolloongabba for supporting us with our Crackham segment. This week, we're going to have 2 episodes. There's too big to just pump into one and do it justice. So we're going to pump it into 2 big old episodes. We've got women's side of the draw, of course, with the Rockhampton Cyclones and the Northside Wizards. And I have not one but 2 head coaches joining us. Drew Fenton and, of course, Dwight Hicks will both be joining the show very soon. We'll kick off our conversation with Drew first, then we'll jump in with Dwight, and I'll jump back on and wrap up the show. But huge thank you to both for giving their time. Obviously, it's a very busy week. Lot to prepare for. All the chockies are up for grabs here, so let's jump straight in with our chat with Drew Fenton. He's here, long-time listener, first-time caller, a man who is taking his women's NBL1 North team from Rockhampton back to the grand final for another crack at it. Mr. Drew Fenton, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mel. Thanks for having us. And, thanks for all the work that you do with basketball in the North. It gives it a real profile around the country, so appreciate it.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. I love it. So, it's not work if you if love what you do, right? So, mate, as a long-time listener, you know how this is going to work. I'm going to jump straight in and ask you where your basketball journey began for you.
I grew up playing all my junior basketball at Knox Basketball, obviously in Melbourne, in the heartland of basketball there. So, yeah, it was a great place to grow up. Mum and Dad were heavily involved in running Knox Basketball, so I spent most of my childhood inside the 4 walls of the stadium, and yeah, it was a great place as a kid to grow up and try and keep me out of trouble.
All right, now I've done some rather extensive research. I like to say that, but really I spoke to someone who's known you for quite a while. In, of course, Jacinta Govind. Now you've been at Knox, obviously you had some time at Rebels and then the Cobras as well, then on to Rocky. What makes Rocky such a special organisation?
Oh, it's just the community feel. Like there's nothing like it. The crowd on Saturday night, I've mentioned it to a lot of people. It was the loudest I've ever been in a basketball stadium. There's not many of the little sort of boutique stadiums left around. A lot of stadiums now are the bigger stadiums with the big high roofs, and I think with our stadium, it's a place where no one wants to come to play, and I think that's a huge advantage for us. But it's just the community around there. We pretty much had a sellout every single game this season, and just walking around the shops and that over the last 2 days, everyone's stopping you, asking about the Cyclones and how we're going to go in the grand final this year. So it's just a great sort of community feel.
Yeah, and as someone who's had the pleasure of going to Rocky and taking in a game, it's a special place, Coliseum of basketball, as we like to call it here on the show. And obviously that community is on show to see every home game. Now, last year you were, of course, coach of the year. Now, what as a coach, what do those kind of accolades mean? Is it a cherished thing? Is Is it that sort of thing? It's nice, but there's bigger things to go for. Or, nice words from the players at the end of the season mean more. Where does it rank as someone who may never actually win one? Where does it rank for you?
Oh, it was a good accolade to have last year, but I would have traded it in for a championship any day of the week. But I think you're only as good as the team that you have on the floor with you, and I think our team plays a great style of basketball, and then they trust what me and my coaches are trying to teach them. And I'm not a big one for awards myself, but obviously it's good reward for yourself, but there's a lot of other good coaches in the league at the same time. There's some really quality coaches in the women's side of the league this year.
Now, obviously, excuse me, last year came up short, made it all the way to the grand final, came down here and lost by just over 40 points across both games. Now, you guys have really added some pieces and you look like you're going to be coming back down this year with a stronger unit. Can you talk us through a little bit about the upgrades that this year's Cyclones are going to have?
Oh, I think it was evident to everyone last year. We struggled a little bit from the perimeter. We had our quality bigs in Lara and Sam, and came to the back end of the season, and a lot of the teams were doubling down on those two, and it was, if they could stop those two, they would pretty much win the game. But we just, thinking in the off season, we probably couldn't rely on that again. We needed to get that extra scorer or someone who we could throw the ball to late in the clock, and she could go and get us a bucket. And I think Morgan's been great with that. And with Morgan, it was always going to be hard for her to come into our Cyclones team, because it was pretty much a ready-made team from the year before, and she's played in the NBL1 Central before, where she's had, probably gets the ball up 30 times a game, and that probably wasn't what we needed from her, and it was communicated with her early, and it took a little bit of her getting used to everyone else and finding her role in the team, but defensively and her assist numbers, they've just gone up and up as the season's gone on, and she's really embraced her role. And I think she's been fantastic. And Sid's really given us that extra punch off the bench that we didn't have. It's that scoring option where she can just come off and she'll let it fly. And she plays the same sort of full court D as Lauren. So they've both been really good fits, and they're both just really, really nice ladies. Like they're great to be around, good teammates, and I can't fault either of those two. Been fantastic.
What is the drive like from those players that have been there and now they're so close to that promised land? It's a brand new grand final series. Reset everything, get to go again, retooled, re-upped. I'm assuming there's some, I obviously saw the comments as well from Sam Bowman, but I'm assuming behind the scenes there's definite want and will and drive to get up there and get it done this time.
Yeah, absolutely. There is. I'd be lying if I said it was any different, but we haven't spoken a whole lot about it. Obviously, when we were piecing the roster back together again after last season, it was, one of the questions: do we have it in ourselves to be able to go again? It was devastating last year for us. We thought we were a real shot when we went down there, and we probably weren't as hardened as we are now. We've played a lot more tougher games this year, and everyone's tried to come and beat us up here in Rocky, and I think we've handled it well, and we just seem a little bit more prepared and a little bit more relaxed. I think last year it was a bit of a whirlwind. We unexpectedly knocked off Logan in the semi, and 4 days later you're on a plane going down to Brisbane to play in a final series. So I think it was it was just a bit of a shock to everyone, and probably weren't prepared. And that's not taking anything away from Northside. That they were fantastic down there in those two games down there. I don't think anyone would have beat them in that series, but that's been our job since that series last year. It's been our job is to try and just get better and better every single week, and we've tried to add layers to both our defense and our offense each week instead of just trying to stay the same. So I think that's been a big change in what we've done. We've tried to match what other teams are doing or combat what their defensive schemes are, which we probably didn't do enough of last year. So I think we're much better prepared both mentally and physically.
All right. Now, obviously, grand final. It's coming up. Back to it again. Same teams running it back. I love that. That is just, amazing when that happens. But obviously you've had a long time to look at this Wizards team. What is it that the Wizards do well?
The big thing that I talk to my girls off is very rarely do Northside take a possession off. They're going to work you for the whole 40 minutes. Defensively, they're going to get after you. They mix it up a little bit. They've been trapping a lot more than they did last year. And I think with Aaron just being at the front of that press gives them that little bit of extra length, which has given teams some trouble. And obviously they've got their two bigs that match up great against our two bigs. I think they're probably the four best bigs in the competition, myself. And it'll be an interesting matchup. It was like Lauren and Jess McDowell White will be a great matchup to watch. I think for the whole series. I think Jess is one of the smartest point guards going around, and I think Lauren's I think she's the best defensive player in the league, and it'll be a really good matchup. I think across the board that there's star-studded matchups everywhere.
There really is. From a fan's point of view, I know I just can't wait to get in and watch some of this. I've got my ticket. I'll be there Friday night. Thankfully, I'll be calling the game on Saturday night. And I've got my ticket locked in for Sunday if things go to that, which, I think it'd be a little bit more slower game on Sunday, I would have to imagine, with two high-powered teams going after it like they have. But, mate, obviously you don't do back-to-back grand finals without having some people around you, in the team, maybe a little bit further down the bench, that sort of thing, or even just, outside the huddle that help out. Now's always a great time to remember those people who help out. Who would some of those amazing people be?
Yeah, it's not just me and the players. I've got a great assistant coach in Chris Muggeridge, who has a championship pedigree under his belt with the Cyclones in 2015 and 2016, I think it was, and got a great team manager in Siobhan James. The best team manager, the ones that you don't see or you don't hear from very often. They just get the job done, and she's one of those people. And we talk about our stars a lot. We do have a great starting five, but the rest of our squad has really pushed our starters all season, and they're loud and they're up and cheering all the time. And I think that's the culture that we've developed here over the last 3 years, that no one's bigger than anyone else. Everyone gets treated exactly the same. And, we've had Maddie, Bella and Emily and Sophie, who we've put a lot of time in as our Rocky juniors. We've, just tried to increase their minutes slowly and not throw them in the deep end, and just sort of try and increase them. And they've had a great year under their belt training, and with Lara and Sam and Lauren, Morgan, Muffy, all those girls really taking them under their wing and guiding them through. And, we've also had our two young development players who have been with us all season, and they're really young. They're only 14 and 15 years old, but this is where we're trying to change our culture, where we're getting people involved in the program a lot earlier, so as that they have a pathway, and they know that there's a pathway at Rocky Basketball where you can go through the junior program and you can filter through into the NBL1 program. And I think the club's in a really good spot. We've got some great juniors coming through, and hopefully over the next few years they stick at it, and their minutes will slowly increase. And it'll be the aim is to have not bring so many people in from outside of Rocky, and if we can have a 5-and-5 where we have 5 people in and 5 juniors, it'll be the ideal scenario for us.
Oh, for sure. That's of course the dream, and it's for every association. But great to hear you guys are really pushing towards that. All right, obviously. Best of luck for the 3 games, but we can't let you go without playing the game that is absolutely taking the NBL1 North especially by storm, in Who's That Teammate. Now, I give 3 clues. The first one's hard, then they get slightly easier. I can't give any more clues after that. You get a guess at each level if you like, but mate, I know you're a listener. Are you ready to be in the hot seat?
Here we go. My girls are going to kill me if I don't get these right.
Oh, it won't be awkward for me in next training session. But all right. First clue. Heat. Heat. Player number 1, first clue is heat. All right. Player number 1, clue number 2, had less steals than Lauren Hurd, who had 7 against Townsville, which was immense, but still had some against Townsville. So had multiple steals against Townsville.
Ty Wakeland Gray.
No, not the one I'm going for. Third clue. Here we go. Had points, rebounds, assists, steal, and block. Steals and blocks. So this player filled up every category during the Townsville game, every positive category.
I'm not a huge stats guy myself, but I don't know. Lara or Sam, I don't know.
Oh, going to have to get you to choose one of those.
I'll go Lara.
Oh, brings it out right at the end. Well done. Yes, was McSpadden. Heat, because, of course, she's played with fire and flames. Both of those things provide heat. And, of course, had two steals against Townsville in that victory over the weekend. All right. Did all right, mate. Did all right. You got through. Got through the first round.
Bad's not going to be happy with that.
Look, you got there. You got there. Okay, player number 2. First season in Rocky. Clue number 2. 30% from 3 for the season.
Sid.
It's not Sid. You have one more clue and one more guess.
Morgan's the only one.
Come on, let me say my clue. Yes, Morgan Jaeger, it is. Nailed it. All right, got it in. Didn't even need the third clue, just need the extra guess. You're good. 2 from 2. I've only got three here tonight. Last one. Clue number 1 for player number 3. No margarine.
Muffy.
There you go. Knocked it on the head.
Don't worry. I heard all about the Vegemite when she lived here, so don't worry. I know all about it.
Look, it's Vegemite's great. And her Instagram page is as well, but I just not sure about this no butter, no margarine thing on a Vegemite toast. It's not for me. It's not for me.
And I don't do Vegemite. I don't do coffee, and that's all my house would smell like every morning.
If you're not into it, and nothing worse.
Nothing worse.
All right, Drew, thank you very much for joining. We really appreciate your time. Best of luck, of course, for the weekend. It's going to be, I'm sure it'll be great basketball. Either way, obviously only one team can get away with the victory, but best of luck to you and the Cyclones.
No worries, Mel. Thanks a lot, mate. And as I said before, everyone in the league appreciates what you and Jacinta and all the people are doing to lift the profile of the league. So appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ball Don't Lie listeners, we've had Drew Fenton on. Now it's the other side of the coin in Coach Dwight Hicks. Dwight, welcome.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, good to be here. Appreciate you reaching out.
No dramas at all, mate. Obviously huge weekend of basketball coming, not just here in Brisbane, in Mackay as well, but obviously, the games in Zilmere are obviously going to be your focus. But before we deep dive into that, just wondering, I'll ask the same question I ask everywhere. Where did your basketball journey begin?
Pretty much through school. That guy comes up and goes, "Hey, do you want to play basketball?" And you go, "Yeah, why not?" Mum and Dad really didn't want me to play rugby league, so I was sort of a track kid. Did a lot of track and field, and got into playing. And then after I finished up playing, I you know, we were having a family, and then you know, some of the boys that I played with, you know, we were into coaching and doing some, you know, moving through the ranks, and sort of reached out and said, hey, you want to get back into coaching? And yeah, just started doing some Queensland stuff, and then that was about it from there. Just yeah, been coaching back coaching full on since then. So yeah, but yeah, it's basketball's always been it pretty much since I was 13.
Nice. Everyone
Yeah,
seems to have that guy or
yeah,
that, you know, that girl or that parent.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome. Now, well, obviously you've had some success. I got to ask, nationals. Obviously not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but nationals in the past, you've gone, and they haven't been necessarily a happy hunting ground, but you have been from the NBL1 North. You're the only coach to go to, to nationals twice
yeah.
now. When you look back on your times, how have they been? Have they fond times where you didn't get results? Are they more of an end of season trip? I mean,
Yeah, look, nationals have been good both times. The first time, we really enjoyed the fact that we got to play Townsville. So we lost to Townsville in the semi-final. We got to play them in the first round. We did a really, really good job for 3 quarters, and you know, the game was pretty much in the balance. And you know, just made a couple of errors, and you know, lost on night one. And at nationals, you can't lose on night one. Well, with the old setup, I don't know what the new setup's going to look like or how that plays out. But if you lose on night one, you're in trouble. Yeah, that happened to us, and then we played Warwick the next night, and we kind of, you know, we didn't get a few calls, and things didn't go our way, and you know, that was a close game. Went down, you know, under 10, and then Warwick ends up winning it. And then, you know, we come out and play Albury Wodonga the next day and win by 50. So it was just, yeah, that was our first one. And then last year, we come up against a scorching hot team, and they shot the lights out. And you know, it was one of those things, one of those nights for them. I thought we battled really well. We played without Woody. That was the first time, other than the first game of the season, we played without Woody. So I thought our team did a really good job. We battled really hard. And then some other results on the other side of the draw didn't go our way, and then we ended up having to play Bendigo on night 2. So that was, you know, they were stacked, and that was good. Like a great experience again. And then you know, really they changed it up. So you only just played the 2 games. So we got to watch the final on Sunday and didn't have to play a game. So you know, both experiences have been different. You know, we're you know, we feel like you go in there to try and win both times, and you know, things just didn't go our way, but still great experiences, great. You know, learn different things about different players, you know, which then helps you, you know, further down the road. So, yeah, look, it'd be a great opportunity to get to go a third time. That'd be kind of cool. But you know, we had a fair bit of work ahead of us first before we even think about that.
oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, that undefeated Bendigo Braves team was, they were special.
Yeah,
They were special. And
yeah,
good news for anyone, for whichever team that makes it, they'll be back again this year. A little bit
yeah,
different situation, but they'll still
yeah,
be there.
yeah.
All right. Now, what is with your Wizards team? What is the one sort of signature you think this team has? Is it a defensive mindset? Is it culture? Is it you know knocking down threes like Jess White was, and then Court Midup came in later in the game? What is that signature for this team?
I look, for us, whenever we've looked at putting teams together, and when we're finding a balance, it's all of a sudden it starts straight away with good people. You have the right people, you have good people, they buy in to what you want to do and all want to walk in the same direction. If you get that happening, then you know, they don't mind getting in a stance, they don't mind playing D, they don't mind passing the ball, and you know, we try and play pretty good defense. We try and rebound the ball. We try and make sure we get some. You know, we get plenty of assists, and you know, I think it's a good balance to hopefully be successful more times than not.
Agreed. All right. Now, obviously, last year you win the chip, and then obviously Woody goes off to Salties, and you're in a little bit of a rebuild mode. But with the way you lived through that, went off to nationals, and you've had this season with the rebuild, Aaron Bowman and other pieces coming back after some others moved on. But as this team has gone through the season and coming into this week, if that last year's team from this exact same time was to play this year's team, who do you think would win that game?
Like we've spoken about, there's two different teams. Yeah, two totally different teams. I think we have a true point guard this year. I think we're probably better defensively this year. We don't have Woody's straight up output that Woody had, but we have multiple people who could do that. Whereas last year, we all enjoyed playing with Woody so much that it was, we didn't mind giving the ball up to Woody. But like if you go back and people don't realize, you go back, Woody had probably two of her lowest scoring games in game 1 and game 2 where we won it because Woody distributed the ball. We did some things, I couldn't pick between which teams. But, I would say any team that's got Jess McDowell-White on it running the point is going to be, probably going in the right direction. So if I would lean towards that, it would probably be that only. I would only lead that way because you got a pure point guard steering your team around. And anytime you got that, you're in, you generally can handle whatever's thrown at you.
All right. Chasing the back-to-back, obviously big ask. But can you sort of give us some insight into what the vibe's like in the team? Are they absolutely pumped, ready to go? Do they, obviously a lot of them, coming back from last year, winning the chip, some new faces, of course. But, is it cool heads prevailing? Is it juice ready to go? What are we looking at inside the training?
I think, look, we've had some really good sessions over the last month. Like we didn't have the week off. When we had the week off, we played a game. Some things like that. We brought extras in for training just to bring up the competitiveness of training. Make it more game-like. And I think the thing about the group that we have, because we've got a blend of the younger player and some veterans, even though they're not old, but they've played for a little while. I think, and some of those players not being career basketballers, as in right now they've got another career, and this is what we do on 3 times a week and playing on the weekend and that sort of stuff. So I think having that blend means that they know there's a job at hand. They never look too far ahead, and they're very disciplined on their preparation. So as far as following scouts, doing those sorts of things, I think where they're excited, like they're super excited Saturday night. You get to the game, and then Tuesday night it was okay. We're locked in. It's just like any other week. We got a game on Friday, and that's the one we want to win. So we'll do our best to put our best foot forward.
All right, calm and measured, but understanding the job ahead. I like it. Now, obviously, rocky ahead. I'm not going to throw rocks because obviously they lost the grand final series last year. They're motivated enough coming in, but what are the strengths that they have that obviously you and you guys are going to have to be aware of and obviously try and neutralize?
Yeah, look. I mean, this year they've had a real balance in attack. They're quite a nice even scoring spread. They rebound really, really well. They're really active with their hands defensively. Getting plenty of steals, those sorts of things. So we really need to make sure that we box out, put a body on people, limit them to one shot. Spads and Bowman, very, very capable players. Lara's shot really well this season. Her mid-range shot has really started to come along. So that's tough. And then obviously they got guards that, if you let them get to where they want to be on the floor, they can really be a problem. So, all over the floor, all 5 players are very, very capable of, putting a number on it. So everyone defensively has a job. It's not like you go, oh, well, we don't really need to guard that one, or we don't need to do all 5 of them can at any stage, hurt you. So we've got to be prepared for that. But boxing out's going to be key.
All right. Heard it here first. Now, are you ready to play a quick game that's taking the NBL1 North by storm in who's that teammate / team member?
Let's give it a crack.
All right, I've got 3 players here for you, Dwight. I've got 3 clues around them. The first one is cryptic, tricky. The idea is it's really difficult to get it on the first go, and they get slightly easier. And hey, we've had people come on and only get 2 out of 4. We've had 3 from 4. We've had a mixture, so no pressure. But
if I can get one, I'll be happy.
I like it. Okay, first one. First clue, rain.
No idea.
All right, 2 steals, 10 points against Seahawks. Clue number 2, 2 steals, 10 points against Seahawks.
Wow,
Saturday night.
That would be 2 steals, 10 points. Nadine Payne.
Nadine Payne it is. Yes, rain and Payne rhyme.
Yep.
And, of course, third clue would have been curls to really,
Yep. Okay. That one would have got that.
Yep. All right, so nailed it. 1 from 1. Straight out of the gate. All right, next player, Zion Ones.
Zion Ones. I'm not good with shoes, so you got me. I got no idea.
All right, clue number 2, Nationals.
So they've definitely been twice, you reckon, hey? Interesting. Well,
yeah.
And they're on my team.
They're on your team.
Wow. National twice.
Yep. Definitely been to one. Were eligible to go again last year. Not sure if they went. They may not have gone, but they were definitely eligible on your team last year as well. All right. And clue number 3.
Give me the third clue.
Former Cyclone.
Former Cyclone. I don't even know what shoes she wears. Could she be like the second oldest player in the league?
Well, I can't give any more clues. You can ask away.
Well, the only one that has been a 2 would have to be Hainsey.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Hainsey, and of course wore the Zion Ones for a couple of seasons.
Wow. Well, see, so I didn't know Hainsey was in the shoes. So you threw me when you said shoes, because I'm like, no, there's no way Hainsey's in the shoes. So, okay,
well,
I got you.
May not be, but I know I had a pair of them, so it was that. Okay. Ooh, nice.
Okay.
So
yeah, you threw me with the shoe. You threw me with the shoes. Good job.
Okay. Well, hey, 2 from 2. You're on fire. All right. Last one. First clue. This is a bit wordy, but stick with me. It'll make sense probably at the end. Scottish cylindrical timber in ivory. Yeah, it's an interesting clue, that one. It's an interesting clue.
No.
Nothing?
Next.
Okay. Clue 2. USF.
Well, I know that as University of Southern Florida, so I don't know whether that's the same USF. So
I can tell you it's not.
USF. No.
Final clue. 4 threes against Seahawks.
4 threes against Seahawks.
4 threes against Seahawks.
Yeah, come on. That's not fair. Is it really USF? Are they really USF?
It's the University of San Francisco.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you got me with the first one. That totally threw me. So yeah, that's got to be Miss McDowell White.
It certainly is.
Jess, by the way. So yes.
Yep.
So,
obviously, you've got to, but Jess is the one.
USF. Wow. Do you know what? I'm sure she wears those clothes all the time, and I've actually never taken notice of it being. Okay. Yep. That's good. Good job.
Unless my research has come up wrong,
no, you're
it's one of
good.
those
You're
things,
good.
but
You're good. It's definitely that, mate. That's bad. That's bad to let that one through.
All right. Well, look, got there 3 from 3. Nailed it. Dwight, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Obviously, best of luck on the weekend. Tough road ahead, but best of luck nevertheless. Both teams are really going to get after it, and I think me, like everyone else, is just ready to sit down and watch some amazing basketball.
Yeah, no, it should be good. Really looking forward to a great weekend.
Thank you again to, of course, Drew Fenton and Dwight Hicks for joining us here on the pod. It's been absolutely fantastic. Big old couple of games left. Well, maybe a few games if we stretch to Sunday, which could be very, very spicy. Best of luck for both teams. Predictions wise, look, it's all a bit tricky. I mean, obviously Northside Wizards come in with better regular season record. Things like that. They come in with slightly better stats in some areas, some in not. They have home court advantage. This is where they won last season. Rocky Redemption Tour. It is available to them. They can come back and get revenge on this Wizards team. Whichever hat you want to wear, I think is, you could seriously tip a team, either team, and be justified in that. I'm going to leave predictions aside this time around. It's down to the wire. It's grand final time. These teams are going to tough it out. They're going to really put on a show here for us in the grand final. 2, possibly 3 games. We'll see if Sunday's required. Obviously, it wasn't last year, but we'll see if it is this year. It's going to be 2 bangers. Make sure you jump on KO. Give them a good old watch. I myself will be on the women's game there on Saturday night, doing play-by-play with Jacinta and Cassie Dover. And the other 2 nights, of course, will be Kenny from the block and Jacinta and Cass doing analytics and color there. It's going to be great. Who's going to win? Gonna have to just tune in and find out, guys. We're at that point though, where all other challenges have been put to bed. Regular season's done and dusted. That's in the rear vision mirror, and it's time for grand final basketball. Tomorrow's travel day for all the teams traveling in the women's and men's. Friday, we go at it. We get after it. It's going to be fantastic. That is going to wrap us up here. Big thank you again, of course, to Drew and Dwight for joining us on the podcast. Make sure if you are on the socials, you're giving us those likes, follows, shares, all those things, especially those 5-star reviews on streaming services that do allow such a thing. But until you're listening to us, /watching us, again, just remember, that ball don't lie.